A very good evening, Zimbabwe, and welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Network. We continue to take a look on what's happening in the nation of Zimbabwe without fear, without favor. And President Advocate Nelson Chamisa explains a very, very important issue. He speaks about the great things to come in the nation of Zimbabwe. And we need to explore and understand, what does President Nelson Chamisa mean? And this is critical because it gives us the position of his government. By the time we will have change in the nation of Zimbabwe, you get to understand the future of Zimbabwe. He says Zimbabwe shall be a nation of plenty, and Zimbabwe shall be taken to another level, the next level of leadership excellence and government integrity. This is very, very important because if our country becomes a nation of plenty, what it means, we have enough for us and we have surplus to trade with other countries, which means we are going to be able to balance off our payments, which means we are going to be exporting more than we import as a country. Then we are able to focus on other critical areas and critical issues. And that is the first thing which is going to save our nation. Then if you look at it, the Zimbabwe, where it is right now, we are on a level where things are not functioning very, very well. But it will come a time where you need to see the government moving from another level to another level. Then if Zimbabwe manages to have an excellent leadership and a government with much integrity, a government which can be trusted, a government which hears the people, which observes what the people need and then implements, that is going to be something which is very, very important. And Zimbabwe is truly capable of achieving phenomenal growth. Yes, it's true. We are capable of doing it. What we lack right now are not resources. What we lack right now is leadership. We have everything, every resource whatsoever to talk about, but we don't have leadership. The kind of ministers, the kind of MPs, the kind of directors, the kind of president, or that is the executive, which we have in Zimbabwe, is hell-bent to make themselves happy, not to make the nation of Zimbabwe happy. So when you look at it, you could see that if we have a leadership which respects the values, of the people, and a government which fears God, a government with love, then you'd see a difference. Because when we love one another, we won't be corrupt. When we love one another, we won't eat alone. We will eat together. That is love. And when we fear God, we hear and understand that every life is valuable. We don't need to take life out of somebody simply because we disagree politically. And that is going to be a guideline to our prosperity in this nation. So Zimbabwe needs leaders who see governance as both a service and a sacred duty to serve God's people and to enhance integrity, progress, and prosperity to a nation. That is very, very important and key, because when we have a government which is there to serve, which is there not to work but to serve, you will see that they will think about the people first. They will put the people first before themselves. So that is very, very important. And it will be a culture of the people eating first, and then the government leaders, they eat it last. So they will give first preference to the people and the last preference to those in government. And also you would see that corruption will fall. You would see that human rights abuses will definitely fall. And you're going to see a government which is loved by the people getting charged. And that is something. Zimbabwe shall be known for good governance. Yes, Zimbabwe should be known for good governance. But because of the kind of leadership which we have right now, and it can't happen. So the government must be exemplary. It must have fantastic policies. It must have values, rights, the rule of law, where the constitution is followed, where the statutory law is followed to the letter. In Zimbabwe, it's not happening. So also there is a need to make sure that when you have a people's government, it is going to align the laws with the constitution, which means we are going to dump the Smith-made laws and we are going to adopt the laws which are derived from the constitution of the Republic of Zimbabwe. That is going to set an example in Africa. Look at how Burkina Faso is fast transforming under the leadership of Traore. And then one would wonder, why is it that Zimbabwe is failing? It's because the leadership which we have does not even match the kind of leadership in Burkina Faso right there. So we need to be very, very cautious about that. In Zimbabwe, shall we have first-class infrastructure, and we will be in the world first-class. Europe, Japan, China. We have those standards which are we see in Europe, we see in Japan, we see in China, we see in the US. Look at their train services, look at the vehicle manufacturing sector, look at the energy sectors which they have, look at the biggest sectors which they have, the standards which they have in their own countries. We can have right here in Zimbabwe because we have people with ideas, we have hardworking people, we have the much needed resources which are going to enable us to reach those levels. So when it comes to the issue of education, you could see that Zimbabweans, they love education, they love to be educated. But what is the problem? The problem is that they will be educated, and after being educated, the leadership is going to make them sit at home and become vendors and become, useless in their lives. And they will die as paupers. Why? It's because the leadership does not value education. That is going to be fixed. So you would see that Zimbabweans, when you are being led by a good government, you will be polite. Yes, you will be very, very caring people. Yes, it can happen. So we'll be able to take care of the pensioners. These are people who have been taking care of the country for years before us. These are the people who have been carrying the burden of building a nation, which means we need to reward them through pensions, such that we make their lives easy. They need to get into the hospital, they get treated. They get into the bus, they do not pay. They get on to the bank, they get their money. And those are very, very important issues which we need to have in our own country. So that a thing of caring can happen in our nation if we are serious. Then there is need for healing in Zimbabwe. Look at Gukurahundi. Look at the people who lost their lives, their loved ones during the liberation struggle. All the activities which happened up to now, the disappearances of people, the killing of people like Pastor Messiah, the 2008, we can't even mention it enough. The More Blessing Alleys, all those issues, we need healing. What it means is we need reconciliation, we need truth, the truth to be told, we need to find each other. That is something which is very, very important. And also, there is an issue of making sure that we have the hospital facilities, the best hospital facilities, which are then also going to heal patients. So we need to heal the heartbroken minds and hearts, and also heal those who are sick. So Zimbabwe must be a country of both, which means we are going to be on the forefront in terms of treatment of diseases, discovery of medicines. All those issues are very critical and very important, and we have the people with the capability to research more on medicines, to research more on along those areas. Then, if you look at the issue of agriculture, Zimbabwe does have a potential to feed even the whole Africa. They have the potential. But what we need is a serious government which is competent, which is going to make sure that every piece of land is productive. And everyone, because people need money, they will produce as long as there is the reward. And also the government chips in with ideas, looking at disasters, all those issues, and making sure that everybody is producing. And then surplus, we sell it. And our people, we improve the lives of our people, we improve the economy, we end food poverty. If we manage to end the thing called food poverty makes people think more about food, not more about other areas. And the more we end and eliminate food poverty, the more we start to actually look on other critical issues, because we are no longer thinking about food. We are now thinking about advanced things. So that is a human mind. A human mind, as long as they have they're on a certain level, they are working to get to the next level. So that is something which is very, very important. And when you look at it, Zimbabwe does have a vast tourism places. And we will be a nation of hospitality, and the tourism will be booming, because once you deal with the economy, the first people to make tourism go into a booming phase are the locals. As long as the locals do not afford to be tourists in their own country, you don't have domestic tourism, you have a problem. How do you expect visitors to come to a country where there is no domestic tourism? So it starts with me affording to go to Victoria Falls, Kariba, Matopos, everywhere, every tourist destination. The more I become capable, the more the others also will want to come to Zimbabwe, because we will be telling our own story. What it means, if we are able to tell a story, we are going to reach more people who will be saying, let us go to Zimbabwe. So once we fix all the political situation, we fix the whatever which is happening right now, you are going to see that a lot of people will be coming into the country. And when they come into the country, we get more revenue. The country also gets more ideas. Other people discover that there is a lot of potential in Zimbabwe, and we have a potential FDI. So he speaks about new factories, new industries being opened in Zimbabwe. He speaks about foreign nationals seeking jobs and employment opportunities in Zimbabwe. Yes, once we have dealt with these issues, we have created a conducive environment for us to rise, then you are going to see it happen. Let us take advantage of South Africa. South Africa right now is closing down. If things continue the way they are, South Africa, the tensions with the United States, the tensions with Israel, and probably the tensions with Europe, you are likely going to see an escalation happening that is going to lead to the fall of South Africa. So if things continue the way they are in South Africa right now, it's an advantage to Zimbabwe, which we need to utilize. We need to take advantage of this situation to make sure that we become a hub. Zimbabwe is at a strategically placed position where we can be a hub of the whole of SADC, and then it extends to other countries across Africa in the world. So Zimbabwe can be a hub of everything, and it can be a destination of everybody. Zimbabwe can be a link to various countries. Be it you want to go to Europe, you come through Zimbabwe. You want to go to East Africa, you come through Zimbabwe. It can happen. For example, if you look at Kenya, Kenya is one of the countries where a lot of people, they pass through Kenya or Ethiopia when they are moving out. So if we fix a lot of things, we'll be able to also fix something where Zimbabwe is going to be at the center of everything. And given that we have a good record in terms of combating crime, if we are going to have better equipped police force, military, CIO, whatsoever, what it means is we will be able to enforce the laws better and make sure that we maintain our peace and security. That is critical. So we have a lot of Zimbabweans who are scattered abroad, and the President Chamisa says these people shall be brought back to Zimbabwe. They need to be brought back to Zimbabwe so that they contribute to the nation building. That is very, very important. When you look at it, Zimbabwe will not struggle because we have a lot of people with ideas who have been writing their own ideas, who know what needs to be done, which means if they are allowed to come back to Zimbabwe and the environment is conducive for them to be here, you will see wonders. You will see them delivering. You will see them running around critical areas, and the nation will then go into a better position. The first thing which we need to take note is to prioritize domestic direct investment more than foreign direct investment, because domestic direct investment, the money stays in Zimbabwe more. And if we are to establish an industry which is viable, what it means is we are going to have lesser imports, which means mari iri kuramba iri kumunyika more. We are receiving from other countries who will be buying from us. So you become a hub of everything, and you become more developed. Then you talk about FDI on levels which we can't afford. But on most things, we will be relying on direct domestic investment, which means our people will become FDIs in Malawi, in South Africa, in other countries within the SADC region and abroad. Then once we have done that, we are now bringing money home from those countries. Those who are investing in South Africa will bring money home. In Malawi, bring money home. In Zambia, bring money home. Mozambique, bring money home, which means that Zimbabwe becomes a hub of everything. Zimbabwe does have a potential even to have a currency which can be a dominant across the whole of Africa. We have that advantage. And if we work together and we put a leadership which understand what needs to happen, then we are going to have that. We are going to achieve that. So we need to embrace agriculture. We need to have bumper harvester harvest. We need to have food surplus, education, tourism, mining, good governance. And then if we reduce corruption, remove corruption, nip corruption in the bud, then we are out. We will be able to conquer other nations in terms of the economy itself. And Zimbabwe will be at the center of everything. We will be one of the best countries in this world. We have everything we need to build this nation. We just need a leadership which is strategic, a leadership which understands what needs to happen, because Zimbabwe can be self-reliant in terms of energy, 100%. In terms of minerals, the majority of the minerals, we have them. Look at lithium, the deposits of lithium which we have right here in Zimbabwe. We can actually build a better Zimbabwe. We also have copper deposits right here in the nation of Zimbabwe, which means we don't need to rely on other countries. Look at steel. We have it. Granite, we have it. All these minerals are critical in infrastructure development, electricity development, whatsoever. So we have enough sun, enough wind. If you go to the southern parts of Zimbabwe, the Mwenezi areas, there are windy, seasons. You can utilize wind right there to also generate power and add to the grid, which means you become a hub of everything. We lack leadership. This is what President Advocate Nelson Chamisa said, and we just want to thank him for continuously giving the people of Zimbabwe hope and insight. And we have a leader. We are being led, and we hope and believe that one day we are going to have that much needed change. Mbire, thank you very much for coming, and thank you very much for the support. So it is what it is, Team Zimbabwe. I love you all. Let us meet in other episodes as well as other broadcasts.